nakapusin hanggang wakas.
The succeeding program is a paid BLOCKTIME program. Views and opinions expressed herein do not necessarily reflect that of the management and staff of RPND-XXX Radio Ronda Zamboanga. Thank you.
Komunidad Kontra Karahasan. Alam niyo ba na ang human trafficking ay isang paglabag sa karapatang pantao? Tumutukoy ito sa pag-recruit, pagkuha, pagdadala o pagbiyahe at pagtanggap sa biktima upang sila ay pagsamantalahan sa pamamagitan ng prostitusyon, pornografiya, sapilitang pagtatrabaho at pagbenta ng bahagi ng katawan. Karamihan sa mga biktima o ikinakalakal nito ay mga bata at kababaihan. Komunidad ay magkaisa. Human trafficking ay wakasan na. Sama-sama nating sugpuin ang human trafficking kasama ang Katilingban sa Kalambuan Organization Incorporated sa pakikipagtulungan ng Carl Gubel Stiftung for Kin-Un Family tuwing una at pangatlong Martes ng buwan, 1:30 hanggang 2:30 ng hapon. Komunidad Kontra Karahasan.
Sa tanan nato mga Bisayang tigpaminaw, assalamualaikum and mapagpalang hapon po sa lahat ng ating listeners, pati na rin sa ating mga viewers via Facebook and YouTube Live dito lamang sa Radio Philippine DXXX Zamboanga. So isang hapon na naman ng Martes para sa ating programang Komunidad Kontra Karahasan. Inahandog ito ng Katilingban sa Kalambuan Organization Incorporated sa pagkipagtulungan ng Carl Stiftung for Kin-Un Family. So ang layunin nito ay upang maibahagi ang mga importanteng impormasyon o kaalaman patungkol sa human trafficking at pati na rin sa iba pang klaseng pang-aabuso lalo na sa ating mga kabataan at kababaihan. So ako si JOANNA Bipat, ang inyong laging makasama dito sa ating programa tuwing pangalawa at pang-apat na Martes ng buwan, 2:00 hanggang 3:00 ng hapon. So magandang hapon po at maulan na hapon para sa ating lahat, no? Kasi maulan ngayon dito sa Zamboanga City. So ngayong araw na to, April 12 ay ating isinaalang-alang o ating pinagdiwang ang International Day for Street Children. So makakasama ko no ang advocacy officer and of course ang social worker ng Akay Kalinga Center na si Risa May Alaban and AMIE Grace Chiong. So magandang hapon po sa inyo.
Magandang hapon din, Jean. At magandang hapon din sa ating mga tagapakinig at mga nanonood sa ating mga.
Yes, Riz.
Okay, so magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Buenas tardes a todos. So ako po si Riza May Alaban, Advocacy Officer at the same time, Street Educator po ng Akay Kalinga Center under Katilingban sa Kalambuan Organization Incorporated. So isang maulan na hapon po sa ating lahat. So magandang hapon po sa ating mga listeners and viewers via Facebook and YouTube Live. So magandang hapon.
Ayan, thank you so much sa inyo no sa pagpunta dito para mag-guest sa ating radio program.
At higit sa lahat pala,
Yes.
Jane, so we're very thankful for giving this opportunity to us to share yung international celebration for CISS, yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong hapon na ito.
Yes, thank you so much, Rich. Pero bago yan, atin mo nang batiin yung 5 partner barangays ng KKS, yung Arena Blanco, Bunyaw, Sinubong, Baluno, and Talisayan. Magandang hapon po. Sana ay nakikinig kayo dyan, lalo na sa aming community-based paralegals. And of course, sa iba ding sa buong 98 barangays ng Zamboanga City. So,
Jane,
maulan na hapon
pwede ba
po.
kaming bumati sa aming mga
yes, of
colleagues?
course, Riz.
Okay, magandang hapon po sa Akay Kalinga Center. So, hello children and staff, and also din sa staff ng Katilingban sa Kalambuan Organization Incorporated. Magandang hapon.
And advance happy birthday din, Ma'am Monique.
Okay, so advance happy birthday, Ma'am Monique, no? And of course, inaanyahan ko yung lahat ng ating mga viewers and listeners na pwede kayong makipag-interact sa aming discussion sa hapon na to. So live tayo sa Facebook page ng RPN. So if may mga sharing kayo, type lang doon sa ating comment para ma-acknowledge. And of course, kapag may mga questions tayo, pwede din doon para mabasa at masagot ng ating mga guests. So ayan, before before tayo mag-start, no, may video kaming ipipresent sa inyo about ito sa children in street situation para tayo ay mas malinawagan or magkaroon tayo ng idea kung ano ang children in street situation.
Ako po si Toto, 11 taong gulang. 5 po kami sa bahay, si Nana. Ako po si Toto, 11 taong gulang. 5 po kami sa bahay, si nanay, si tatay, tsaka po yung 2 kong kapatid. Doon po kami nakatira sa gilid ng ilog. Pasensya na po wala po kasi kaming kuryente, wala rin po kaming tubig, CR, tsaka may basura po. Wala po kasing trabaho mga magulang ko Kaya ayun, lagi po akong namamalimos sa lansangan.
Ang tawag sa mga gaya ni Toto ay mga CISS, Children in Street Situations, o mas kilala rin sa tawag na street children. Mga batang madalas na nasa lansangan o ibang pampublikong lugar. Ang akala ng iba, lahat ng CISS ay mga batang pariwara, mga walang magulang o kaya ay mga kriminal. Hindi maitatangging ang ilan sa kanila na lululong sa masamang bisyo gaya ng iligal na droga o kaya ay napipilitang magnakaw para may makain sa araw-araw. Pero ang totoo, marami sa kanila nag-aaral naman at may bahay na nauuwian. Dala lang ng kahirapan o kaya ay sa karahasan sa loob ng tahanan, kaya mas pinipili nilang maglagi sa lansangan. Ang iba naman, sa kalsada talaga nakatira ang buong pamilya. Gaya ng mga batang Sama Badyaw, nasalat sa magandang kapalaran, ultimo papel ng kapanganakan. Kung minsan pa nga, palipat-lipat sila habang naninirahan sa karitong digulong. At dahil walang sapat na pera, karaniwan silang makikitang naghahanap buhay sa labas gaya na lamang ni Toto.
Walang trabaho si nanay. Si tatay naman, paminsan-minsan lang makadilihin bilang trabahador. Kaya po ako namamalimos. Di ko po sinasabi kina nanay at tatay kasi nakapagalitan ako. Pero gusto ko po kasing makatulong sa pamilya namin.
Ang ibang batang gaya ni Toto, kung hindi namamalimos, nagbebenta ng pagkain sa lansangan, makatulong lang sa kanilang magulang na matustusan ang kanilang pangangailangan. Wala pang tiyak na datos ang gobyerno kung ilan nga ba ang maituturing na CISS sa buong bansa. Pero sa pagtataya ng Life Bank Foundation at Social Weather Stations noong 2019, di bababa sa 369,000 ang bilang ng mga CISS sa bansa. Kung tutuusin, wala namang ipinagkaiba si Toto sa ibang bata. Sadyang mas madalas lang siyang nasa lansangan. At gaya ng ibang mga bata, si Toto ay may mga karapatan at dapat gabayan.
Paglaki ko, gusto ko pong maging pulis. Kasi gusto ko pong hulihin yung masasamang loob. Delikado po kasi dito sa lugar namin. Marami pong nakatirang adik.
Pero ano man ang sitwasyong kinalalagyan ng isang bata, naiipit man sa krimen o hindi, nag-aaral man o walang pinapasukan, naglalaro man o naghahanap buhay sa lansangan, may mga pangarap lang siyang nais matupad. May karapatan pa rin siya sa isang maayos na buhay at magandang kinabukasan na dapat isinusulong hindi lamang ng kanyang pamilya kundi maging ng buong komunidad kasama ang pribadong sektor at pamahalaan.
Mamamayagpag na naman po yung mga drug lords, no? Kawawa naman po yung citizenship natin. Pagka tumigil po ang kwan at walang the same passion kay Pangulo, ang fight against criminality, maglalagay po sa panganib ang ating kwa. So sinasabi ng mga membro, ipagpatuloy natin yan. So how do we do that? Sabi natin, pwede naman dahil wala namang pinagpabawal sa saligang batas na tumakbo ng Vice President si Pangulo, patakbuhin natin. Tama po yung sinasabi ni Pangulo. Sabi niya, I doesn't like to run kung magtatakbo lang. He will not run because of it. But if alam po ninyo nung nagsalita ako, Pangulo, kailangan po natin yan para to guarantee it and for your love of country. Yung pagiging pagmamahal mo lang sa bayan kaya ka tumakbo. So sabi ang kinuha niya sabi niya kung may magagawa pa ako. And that is where he will see his leadership, no? His leadership, his servant leadership. Nagagawin lang niya yun kung makakagawa siya, makakatulong siya.
Okay, but then you also have another PDP Laban official, Vice President for the Visayas. According to Lutgardo Barbo, one, he does not agree with the president also running for VP, and one would think that he would have some clout in the Visayas region, clearly. He wouldn't be just speaking for himself.
Yes.
And he even claims that it seems that it's the president who is starting this infighting, or he orchestrated the infighting himself.
Yes, that is the beauty of the principles of being practiced by PDP. We are a democratic, consultative, participative. No, hindi po there is no. Kasi dito naman sa Juanes, they are free to express their opinions. No, but we are going to process that, and the rule of the majority shall prevail. Yun naman ang amin sa partido. So they are free, no? They are free. But hindi naman pwedeng dahil si Mr. Barbo gano'n na sinabi, yun na ang rule, no? Hindi naman po. Katulad po nakakarami yung pirma po doon sa panawagan na tumakbo si Pangulo, hindi lang po pirma ng 3-4 na tao po yun. Pirmado po yun ng lahat ng halos ng chapter at lahat ng membership.
Ilan yun? Do you have the number?
Yung pong may kukuha ko lang po sa ang Bulacan alone, no, yung sa leadership ng Bulacan, I have 5,000 ang signature yung nandoon, no. Yung dito po sa Metro Manila nung pagpirma magpirmahan po, lahat po ng PDP members pumirma. Lahat po. Ngayon sa Visayas, ganun din po. Yung sa Mindanao, ganun din po. So may mga ilan-ilan na siyempre sinasabi nga po natin na may mga ilan-ilan na gusto natin na nagsusulong na maging Pangulo ng partido si Manny Pacquiao, Senator Pacquiao, wala pong problema yon. But we have to undergo process. Kaya nga po yung panawagan namin sa 16 and 17, they should attend that. If they believe that they have that, if they believe in what they are espousing, if they believe in pinaglalaban nila, ilabas nila doon because these are the assembly of members and pag-usapan.
Okay. What do you make? 2 questions is Senator Coco Pimentel has said that he is actually espousing party politics. And yet you are saying also you are espousing party politics.
Yes.
Not personality politics.
Yes, ma'am. You know, ma'am, I've been saying that not just now. When I joined the party, I've been espousing party politics because that would ensure continuity. Hindi po personality-based. Walang personality-based politics. Pinaglalaban natin yung programa kung ano. This is the legacy that we would like to leave to the next generation para mabago. Hindi yung kung popular tayo, mananalo tayo kahit na wala tayong kagawin.
And you believe Senator Coco Pimentel is espousing the reverse? It's personality politics?
Well, kaya nga I will not say that because he said that also to me that he is a party man and thinking of party politics, no? And sabi ko nga dito, Ma'am Karen,
but then considering he has already chosen Senator Manny Pacquiao as president,
then sasabihin kong personality-based yan. Personality-based yan. Because we have to give everybody the equal opportunity. Kaya nga po tumatawag namin sa National Council, the National Assembly, yun ang pagkakataon. Kasi the National Council, lahat po ng leaders nandoon. At saka gusto ko lang sabihin na dito na yung panawagan kay Pangulo na tumakbo para maging Vice Pangulo, pirmado po lahat yun ng entire National Council. Hindi lang po kanya. So,
All right.
talking about the party politics, ito, Ma'am Karen, pinag-aralan na po natin ito yung party politics. Kaya nga po doon, even yung mga tie-ups with the other parties of the other countries, ginawa po natin yan as early as 2016. We have tie-ups with the Communist Party of China, with Vietnam, with Russia, and all other, even Korea, para to strengthen yung partido. And so we learn to each other para how we can improve ang ating governance.
Okay, but then what process would you want? Clearly there is a party process, but if Manny Pacquiao were to insist and his faction were to insist that he should be the candidate of PDP Laban, what would they have to show for it? Is it a certain number of signatures? Is it, what would it be?
It's not just the signature, ma'am. What we should do is that he should face the leadership. He should face the membership and explain. Talk to him. Talk to us. Ay, ang problema po, naging presidente siya, nag-acting president siya. We have been asking for a meeting. Hindi niya kami i-meet. So at least kung nag-meeting sana kami, nagkaroon sana ng klaro. Ano ba ang gagawin natin? Ngayon, we have been accused. Tingnan ninyo, ma'am. Nagkaroon ng resolution na patakbuhin Vice President si Pangulong Duterte in 2022. Naging public yung resolution na yon. Now, instead of calling us para sabihin, ano ba ito, pag-usapan natin, ano po ang ginawa? Presscon. And then berated us. Paano po yun? How can we have unity kung ganon? Kami, we have been saying, let's meet, let's discuss this. Ganun lang ba? Wala po kami.
So frankly speaking, at this point, on July 17, after his accusations against President Duterte, is it possible that he might be expelled?
Possibility of his being expelled? Yes, because you're accusing the chairman of the party of ill doings that you cannot even prove. Hindi para character assassination po yan. I accuse. What about if I accuse him and then suddenly I just leave and go home to my province and sleep? Kawawa naman yung tao na ina-accuse ng gano'n. Katulad din namin po, in-accuse kami. Corruption at DOE. Where's the corruption at DOE? Kami nga po ang naghahabol do sa mga oligarchs na ayaw sumunod sa gobyerno. Kami na nga po ang hinaharas tapos sasama pa siyang mangharas sa mga yun. Hindi naman po tama yung ganun.
Oo, paano yan, Secretary Cusi, if Senator Coco Pimentel insists on Manny Pacquiao, will that mean also that he would have to leave the party? Because Senator Coco Pimentel on Head Start also said, if you want to support someone else outside the party, di umalis na lang kayo. Sinabi niya yon.
Baka walang matira sa partido. Ang problema yan ang ganon, ano po. Gusto nila, they want to impose that to the membership. Ang problema, pwede po ba yun na sinasabi lang namin na wala namang problema, i-present yung gusto ninyo. Why don't you present it? O masama yun, hindi naman natin pwedeng pipilitin and blindly the members will accept that. Magkakagulo po tayo doon. Kaya nagkakagulo. Ang sabi natin, present ninyo kung hindi nga, katulad ko nga po, vice chairman ako. Nung mag-assume siya ng presidency, hindi ko alam. Si Pangulo, chairman, nag-assume ng presidency, mag-assume pala si Senator Pacquiao ng presidency, he was not given the courtesy. Paano ba naman magkakasundo tayo nun? No po. So kung sabi mo lang naman na magpakaroon pala tayo ng change of leadership, okay, I'm stepping down. I'm going to do this. Any problem.
Okay, so at this point, how do you prevent PDP Laban from splitting into two? I mean, clearly, Senator Coco Pimentel will not allow the PDP Laban, which is father-founded.
There is only one PDP, ma'am.
Okay.
And that is the PDP that is founded by the late Senator Nene Pimentel.
And does Senator Coco Pimentel have to be in that party?
He's the Senator Coco Pimentel was the president of the party. he should have taken care of the party very well, no, to protect the legacy of his father. Now, kami po, we recognize the legacy of the late Nene Pimentel, and we want to preserve that. And we are not going to take it away from him. So PDP is PDP as founded by the father. Ngayon, kung meron po katulad naman, ito naman proseso po ito, nangyayari po lahat ito. Kahit nga po sa pamilya, may lumalayas na anak, pagbalik. Okay, nangyayari po yan. So, I think it's a process na to achieve maturity ng partido.
Okay, pero ang sabi ni Senator Pimentel before we go is hindi kami papayag, so kami, that you will take over the party. So most likely, ikaw yon. At i-etchapuera lang ang matagal ng party mates.
Nobody is taking over the party. The party is a groupation of people. The party is the people. So nandiyan yan sa mga tao. We are just here and the party will remain. Whether he is the one leading or another person leading, the party will still be there. Ang kung lang yan is that wag sila panawagan ko lang sa kanila. Join the National Council, join the Assembly, present your issue. And that is the venue where we can resolve and achieve unity. Now, unity, ang pag-unity is that pagka naman nagkaroon na ng desisyon, let's follow. Kung if Manny Pacquiao is elected as the president and he is chosen as the leader of the party, if I don't leave the party, I will fully support him. Ganun lang naman yun eh. So, ganun din dapat ang natin sa kanila na kung magkaroon ng decision ng partido, fall behind it, support it, or otherwise, leave.
Okay. Anything you would like to add before we go, Secretary Cusi? Senator Coco's concern, he said that if hypothetically PDP Laban ends up supporting an outsider, is he sees the party folding up because everybody will gravitate towards the winner. It makes perfect sense. We've seen it happen in Philippine politics. So you have officials essentially moving towards the ruling party or the winning party.
Ang first the greatest factor of that is keeping PDP strong, keeping PDP relevant is President Duterte. Siya po yun. We recognize that if si President Duterte umalis sa partido, PDP will be gone. Because wala pong naniniwala na magkakaroon ng leadership na katulad ni Pangulo kung mawawala si Pangulo sa PDP. And si Pangulo naman po, sinasabi niya, kung ayaw ng PDP, wala tayong problema dyan. Wala tayong problema. But again, this is a party that has been established. The President has a very high respect also for the late Nene Pimentel. And he recognized the effort, the work. Nakikita rin diyan po ang problema. And sana nga sinasabi ni Pangulo, sana hindi nangyayari ito sa PDP. Because PDP is a principled party. Kaya lang mawawala yung prinsipyo pagka ganito ang behavior ng mga kasama natin. So pag-usapan, ang panawagan ko lang po is that this problem can be resolved by us meeting. Join the Assembly, join the National Council, present your case.
Okay.
Wala po kaming kaso. Wala po akong agenda. There is no truth that we are preparing the party for an outsider. There is no truth that there is a preference of our presidential candidate. We know the process. But I must accept that the party membership would like President Duterte to run for vice president to ensure continuity of the programs that ayaw po nating masayang yung leadership ni Pangulong Duterte. Yun lang po ang hinahabol ng PDP Laban.
Oo. Pero I think to close with everything you've pointed out, Secretary, you are saying it is really possible for the party to support and endorse Mayor Sara Duterte, an outsider, because she is more PDP than Manny Pacquiao. You mentioned that earlier. So it's a possibility.
It is possible, ma'am, but it has to go through a process in accordance to the bylaws, the constitution and bylaws of the party.
Oo.
So, pwede po yun. And kung si Mayor Inday Sara po, sabi ko nga po, she was a PDP. No? She was a PDP more than Manny Pacquiao because he has used the CONA of PDP. Manny Pacquiao has not used the CONA of PDP.
Okay. The next question is hypothetically, if Mayor Sara agrees at some point, but the condition would be for her father not to run, what would happen? Which would be more important? Is the president running for VP, or let's say a condition given like that?
Ang kwan po sa PDP, is that the more important for PDP is for President Duterte to run as Vice
VP.
President. Yun po ang resolution. Maliwanag na maliwanag, yun po ang resolution. So if it is the degree of importance to PDP, PDP is for President Duterte to run for Vice President.
All right. On that note, Secretary Alfonso Cusi, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Is it possible that Senator Coco Pimentel might get expelled on the 17th?
Well, I don't know what other violations that he has made, but that has to go through the process. We have, you know, we give we follow the process in the party, and on that basis, expelling him from the party, I don't think naman it will reach to that.
Okay. On that note, Secretary Cusi, thank you so much for joining me once again. Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat at magandang umaga again. Thank you.
All right. That's Get Start today, everyone. I'm Karen Davila. Thank you for watching. Stay informed and stay with ANC.
Among the 70 congressmen who voted to reject the franchise, do you stand by your vote? And are you proud of that vote?
Of course.
After the fact, we get to see things more clearly.
If that was not the position of the House leadership, would you have gone against that position and voted in favor of?
I don't want to answer you that.
After the fact, we know who's telling the truth.
Anak, kung meron kayong mga crews dito.
You're asking, sana may crew dyan. I suppose you were referring to ABS-CBN. Hindi binigay yung franchise. So naisara yung regional station. So paano mako-cover yung nangyayari dyan?
Is it really for public health or for something else?
I am a public servant. I'm not a doctor.
After the fact with Christian Esguerra, weeknights at 8 p.m. only on ANC. The latest news and information you get on radio. With the daily issues and current events.
Tulad po ng aming pinangako, nagbabalik ang ating TV Patrol.
With the Philippines' leading local evening newscast. The national stories presented to you by the country's trusted anchors and reporters. TV Patrol. Watch it weeknights here on the ABS-CBN News Channel. The biggest news, the most compelling stories, and issues that matter to you. Top Story, Monday to Saturday at 5 p.m. here on ANC.
In this episode, we take a look at the new face of retail, where the shopping experience is more than just about buying and selling, but also about bringing passionate consumers together to trade stuff, share knowledge, and ultimately to have fun. We'll visit a mid-century modern gallery to get tips on mixing and restoring vintage pieces for your collection. Park ourselves at a car cafe to enjoy motorsports art and culture amidst classic automobiles. Then find our way to a hidden haven for hi-fi hobbyists and vinyl enthusiasts.
This is the Philippines. We are ANC. The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect the policies and position of this network.
It's Tuesday, September 14 in Manila. I'm Karen Davila giving you the head start for the day. Our guest for Hot Copy today, we still have with us Agriculture Secretary William Dar as we continue on our discussion how the pandemic is affecting the industry and what the government will be doing about it. And later on, we have former Bayan Muna Representative Nery Colmenares as he questions how the government used savings to finance infrastructure projects that had nothing to do with pandemic response. First, the headlines. Today's big stories: the Philippine government releases the guidelines for the new alert level system to be implemented in Metro Manila. Scientists from the World Health Organization insist COVID-19 booster shots are not needed for the general population. And more irregularities uncovered as the Senate probe on the government's COVID-19 response spending. The Philippine government has released the guidelines for the pilot implementation of the new alert level system in Metro Manila, which begins on Thursday. There are 5 alert levels, with 5 being the strictest lockdown, where non-essential businesses won't be allowed to operate. This will be imposed in areas with high COVID cases. Under alert level 4, alfresco dining will be allowed at 30%. Indoor dining will be permitted at 10% capacity, but only for fully vaccinated individuals. Under alert level 3, establishments are allowed to open at 30% capacity, then at 50% for level 2, and full capacity for level 1. The new quarantine system in Metro Manila comes as the Philippines posts another 20,745 new COVID infections. Over 22,000 recoveries were also reported, but active cases still exceed 180,000. More than 600 new cases of the more contagious Delta COVID variant were detected in the country, as well as raising the total to about 2,700.
The concept of herd immunity assumes that your population of vaccinated and unvaccinated is randomly distributed. But what we have here is that, for example, in BARM, only about 77% are fully vaccinated, whereas in NCR is about 60 to 65%. If we look at our original target of 70% vaccination, we will have to vaccinate down to 15 years old. 18 and above do not reach 70% of the population.
On Hot Copy this morning, we continue our discussion on the government's program with the Department of Agriculture. Agriculture Secretary William Dar is with us. Secretary Dar, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Karen, and good morning to all your viewers.
As we continue our discussion from yesterday, just recently, the Department of Agriculture was hit by the lower house for what they call a non-responsive 2022 budget. The lower house says, number one, the 2022 budget of the DA doesn't have enough funds for farmers and fisher folk, and there is no cash assistance for farmers. How would you describe the 2022 budget of the DA?
Thank you, Karen. Yes, the 2022 budget of the Department of Agriculture, which is just about 91 billion to include corporations and attached agencies, is just good enough to respond, but not significant enough to bring to a higher level of food sufficiency. So that's the challenge. We would like to have bigger budget, but of course, we are part of the government in terms of, looking at how the budget should be also distributed to other sectors of the economy.
Your first request was 231 billion, is that correct?
That's true. That's the level of request we submitted to the Department of Budget and Management. And what was given is, in the National Expenditure Program, is only 91B.
But that is such a big cut. Why do you believe the cut is that big?
Well, we have been looking forward for a much bigger budget because that's the only way we can jumpstart and unleash the potential of the sector, All these years, the budget of agriculture is in that level, 80, 90 billion, but we were looking forward. And we said, this is now the time, because of the pandemic, because of this new normal, that significant allocation must be made for the sector of agriculture. We have shown how agriculture is faring and showing its resilient growth during this pandemic. For the last 1.5 years, in spite also of a lingering African swine fever, ay halos nasa flat growth po na ang sektor ng agrikultura. So ang ibig sabihin po yun ay there is resiliency of the sector. If you add more budgetary support, that can be a boost to really looking at a higher level of outcomes at the end of the day.
Is this government sending the wrong message to farmers? We keep saying that the agricultural sector is important, and yet the slash of the budget is so dramatic. There's no cash assistance to farmers and fisher folk, and you essentially don't even have funds for farmers as well. The question is, there are parts of the budget you have an increase with the NTF-LCAC. There's a lump sum of 10 billion to the GEF, which was never there before.
Okay, Karen, let me mention what I said in the House of Representatives. I was asked the question, am I happy of the budget that we are given under the National Expenditure Program? I said, I'm happy, but I will be much, much happier being the servant leader here if we are allocated much higher budget to really unleash the potential of the sector. Now, you said earlier na...
But I wanted, not to interrupt, but how could you be happy if you have a budget that doesn't support or give aid to farmers? What's to be happy about that?
Okay, there are two types of ayuda, Karen. What we mentioned during the budget hearing in the House, yung cash assistance is one of them. The second one is the agricultural inputs that we give free to farmers. So that's another form of ayuda. Now, in the form of the cash assistance, dito po sa taon na ito ay mayroon nakalaan naman this year, yung sa out of the excess tariff ng rice tarification law, we are going to distribute by the fourth quarter the rice financial assistance at 1.5 million farmers to be receiving. These are the rice farmers tilling 2 hectares and below at 5,000 pesos each. Now, next year, that will continue to be so, depending on the excess tariff that will be collected this year. So, tuloy-tuloy po yung cash assistance. Now, all the rest are in the form of what I call in-kind assistance.
Yes, but if you say tuloy-tuloy ang assistance, the original proposal is 231 billion. You're cut down to 91 billion. What was the 140 billion for?
Okay, let me...
So clearly something's been cut.
Yes, ganito po. Ito yung pananaw po natin sana for 2022. Yung rice production program natin is well-funded na. Almost 80 billion. Isama mo yung 30 billion na coming from NIA. Kasi patubig yun eh. So pag sinama mo yun, yung budgetary support ng gobyerno for rice production is almost 80 billion, which is the level that we need to have yearly assistance to rice farmers in the form of agricultural interventions, inputs, and the like. Now, what we would have liked, this is our prayer for next year. All the other subsectors of the agriculture sector, to include high-value crops, which is also pursuing diversification, the livestock and poultry subsector, and the fishery sector. Itong tatlong grupo po na ito ay misly budgeted. More than 1 billion each ang budget po ng ito, high value, livestock and poultry, and fisheries. So we really would like to enhance the growth of this. High value agriculture, by the name itself, you can, properly invested, ay malaki po ang ambag nito sa ating ekonomiya. Ganon din sa livestock and poultry. More than 30% ang ambag niya sa gross value added in agriculture. Ang fisheries ay may mga 17%. Pero ang budget lang nasa level na, I would say, this is the higher level, 4 billion a year sa fisheries. We would have wanted more.
Okay, but I'm curious, what will suffer with a 140 billion peso cut in your budget?
Well, ang present budget level namin kasi, Karen, this year, 2021, ay halos 90 billion din eh. 1% lang ang increase for next year. So what will suffer ay kagaya sa rice. Again, I will give you an example from rice. Properly invested, ang ganda po ang outcomes ng rice production. Last year, we had the record harvest in rice, 19.4 million metric tons. This first semester, we have the highest also rice production in the history. And so it's showing that as you give more budget, as you support the development of a commodity industry, the outcomes are phenomenal. So ganun din ang aming hypothesis dito sa iba't ibang subsectors. Kung mabuhusan po natin ng suporta, itong mga high-value crops, livestock and poultry, itong fisheries, mabuti sa 2022, ang livestock ay dinagdagan ng 4 billion pesos para sa repopulation natin at sa laban sa African swine fever.
Okay. Now, the lower house also flagged the allocation, the lump sum allocation of 16.3 billion pesos to the National Irrigation Administration, or NIA. The lower house said they found it questionable, considering that the NIA's performance when it comes to irrigation has been quite poor.
Well, I would like to excuse myself answering the question kasi NIA is not under the oversight of the Department of Agriculture. So, mahirap naman na I may be giving the wrong answer.
But do you believe, I mean, considering that irrigation is tied to agriculture?
Very much so, very much so. And actually, mayroon kaming proposal na kung pwede, mamarapatin po ng mahal na Pangulo ay ilipat na sa kagawaran ng pagsasaka itong National Irrigation Administration. Because, you know, water is agriculture. Agriculture is life. And so on. You can cite a number of justification why it is necessary for the National Irrigation Administration to be part of the 1DA family.
Because the problem that you have now is, given that you had said you don't hold oversight functions with NIA, the COA has flagged NIA for measly increase in irrigation, which would mean it affects the production of our farmers as well. And
What I can say, Karen, because I've been analyzing the whole situation all this time, you know, we still have 1.2 million hectares of rice lands needing national irrigation systems development. Okay. Now, having said that, at the rate government have been investing and supporting national irrigation systems development, it will take another 20 years before this 1.2 million hectares will be properly irrigated. So I was suggesting the idea through our oversight secretary sa NIA, si CABSEC Carlo Nograles, and even to NIA itself, na why don't we open up the NIA for public-private partnership, meaning we encourage the private sector to invest and you pay them, you know, accordingly. Para as you have more private sector investing in the development of the national irrigation systems, then you can enhance and not wait 20 years, but maybe target for the next 6 years the development of national irrigation systems.
But is the government putting money where its mouth is, so to speak? Is this a pandemic responsive budget? I mean, clearly the government has a zero hunger program, and yet it is not fully funding the needs of farmers. How can we have a zero hunger program without funding farmers?
Tama po. What I can say, the 91 billion that we have plus the NIA 30 billion is just the barest minimum to sustain a response to COVID-19. Now, we could have been in a better situation, higher levels of food sufficiency for most of the commodity industries properly budgeted.
Is there any aspect of the budget you believe that can actually move to agri?
This is one discussion the House of Representatives was moving toward, and I think it is their final judgment that will make it possible. As we said in the cabinet, it's a zero-sum game, meaning if you have to have additionally budget for agriculture that has to come from within the National Expenditure Program.
But how would you describe the utilization of the DA budget for 2020-21?
Okay po, Karen, yung per our lessons in 2020, we are elevating our game kasi we need to use properly every peso that is budgeted for the Department of Agriculture. Dito po sa agrikultura ay sinisigurado ko na walang corruption. Yung mga nasabi na binalik po natin noong 2020 ay bumabalik kasi continuing appropriations, naglaps ng NCA, loan proceeds yan. So continuing nagagasto po namin na mabuti itong taon na 2021. And you will see a better outcome again this year.
Okay, but let's be honest.
Takbo sila dahil matakot. Tumatakbo na sila sa amin para minsan nakikita nga may mga bit-bit kami. At kaya kami na magtulong yan. May mga materials kami nung na dinadala pag nagkakanda kami ng street education. So, in regarding naman na delays ka na-mention, meron ka pa bang additional na delays? So, yun. Kung saan sila pwedeng lumapit.
Yes.
So,
siguro pwede din sa inyo, no?
Yes.
Yes.
Na nawagan ka, nanawagan talaga. So, sa lahat ng viewers and listeners natin, no? Gusto lang din namin, if ever man may narinig, nakita kayo ng mga issues related on CISS o yung mga tingin yung bata, children at risk, especially ito sa mga na-mention nga na category kanina, Teresa, pwede nyo i-refer yung bata sa Akay Kalinga Center. We are located at Dr. Varela Street, Zone 1, Zamboanga City. Malapit lang po sa Gate 2. Yung landmark namin sa Gate 2 ng Central School and BJMP. So, pagtanongin niyo siguro sa mga residents na malapit doon sa amin, alam nila kung saan ituturo.
Okay. So, ayan. And last week ba yun? Narinig ko mayroon tayong libro na...
Yes.
Ayan. Okay, sige Riz.
Yes.
So, may kami, last week, last April 5, so na-launch yung book namin ng research book namin entitled Vulnerabilities and Resilience of Children in Street Situation from Health Issues and Disaster in Zamboanga City, a Participatory Research. So dito na-identify yung mga yung vulnerabilities ng mga bata, how to improve their quality of life.
Yes.
So yun po. So isa po talaga sa major issue na lumabas sa research, yun na nga, lack of necessities or basic necessities po.
So yun, gusto ko lang din i-mention Ate Jane, na itong book na to, hindi ito gawa lang namin ni Ate Riza. So sa pag-publish ng book na to, involved dito yung mga bata, yung mga CISS natin. So may mga ibang stakeholders din kami na-interview how they responded and paano din sila mag-render din ng services sa mga CISS natin.
So with this research study, so it was made possible with the coordination with Livebank Foundation Incorporated and also with the TDH Germany. So thank you very much for your support.
Pwede ba namin yan ma-avail or kung pwede man saan or...
very limited kasi ito.
Okay.
May itong book na to. So, nung nag-launch kami nung
April 5.
So, may mga may mga ibang mga partner agencies din kami, mga ibang stakeholders na barangays.
Yes.
So, may mga ibang offices and barangays na may copy nito.
We provide them a copy of this research
siguro,
study.
Pero pag gusto naman siguro nila makita or ma-check itong book na to, siguro pwede i-contact si Ate Jane or yung mga...
Okay, si Ate Riza. Yes.
Center, yes. Pwedeng i-refer ni Ate Jane kay Ate Riza or sa KKI talaga, Katilingban. Sa Kalambuan Organization Incorporated.
So ayan, thank you so much no Ami and Risa. Wala na tayong oras, 3:00 ng hapon na. So in behalf sa KKS na project, nagpapasalamat kami lubos sa inyo no sa pag-support at pag-guest dito sa ating 1-hour radio program ngayong hapon na to. So sana sa lahat ng ating mga viewers patuloy kayong makinig at manood dito sa ating programa dahil maraming pa kaming pwedeng maibigay na mga kumbaga importanteng mga topic or mga issues na kung saan makatulong sa atin para makaiwas tayo sa anumang pang-aabuso at para na rin matulungan natin ang ating mga kakilala, ang ating mga kapitbahay at iba pang tao na nangangailangan ng kumbaga help. So ayan, Riz, meron pa?
Thank you so much no for this opportunity ng Katilingban sa Kalambuan Organization Incorporated. So to raise awareness on CISS in relation to the celebration of International Day of Street Children in Street Situations. So every April 12th. So yan po yung day ng CISS. So thank you so much Ma'am Jane.
So ayan, para sa kaalaman din ng iba no, pwede kayong mag-contact dito sa ating number na naka-present sa screen sa if ever may mga tanong kayo or mga cases kayo na pwedeng i-refer sa amin. So contact lang sa ating telephone number as well as sa ating number na nandyan sa screen. So once again, magandang hapon po sa ating lahat.
Philippines Network, DXXX Zamboanga, DXXX Zamboanga. This is Radio Philippines Network, DXXX Zamboanga, DXXX Zamboanga. The Great 108,